Now, a few hours after the game, Chelsea have announced the signing of Alejandro Garnacho. Manchester United have accepted a fixed £40 million fee with a 10% sell-on clause. It's the fourth largest sale in Manchester United's history after Cristiano Ronaldo, Romelu Lukaku and Angel Di Maria. It's also the club's largest ever sale of an academy player, so Jay Bothroyd. What do you make of that?
I think it's a great signing for Chelsea. I think the only thing about him, his attitude sometimes is questionable, but there's no doubt about his ability. He's an Argentinian international. He's one of those players that you'd hate to play against him if you're a fullback. He can go both ways. He's really fast. He does his defensive duty. He's worked really hard. He scores goals. I think it's a great signing for 40 million. 40 million. When you think about the players that are moving for more money than that, there's half the player he is. I think that is a great signing for Chelsea.
Why didn't it work out for him at Manchester United, do you think?
Formation. I would say, because he's a winger. He wants to play one-on-one against fullbacks, whether it's on the right or the left, because we've seen him do both for Man United. But ultimately, at Man United, you're playing with wing backs and two number 10. So I don't think the style suits him. But then his attitude with Amorim, came into question a lot.
And where's he going to fit in then at Chelsea? Do you think he'll be starting every week? How do you think that's going to work?
Yeah, I think he will be starting every week.
Really?
Obviously, there's competition for places, especially with Neto. He's been playing well since the start of the season. And I think Garnacho likes to play on the left more than the right because he's got the opportunity to cut inside and have shots, score goals. But he can go on the left as well. So I think it'll be a competition out of them two. But I think I'd go with the best winger at the club.
Okay, well, could he be rubbing shoulders along with Nicholas Jackson? Because, of course, his move to Bayern Munich looks to be off due to Liam Delap's injury. He flew out to Germany to finalise the move. As you see, they're all smiles.
You've got a feel for him there.
You're
so happy.
To be honest. And I say Delap should be out for up to 6 to 8 weeks, we're hearing, with this hamstring injury. So, look, Chelsea have called the deal off. It's a hard one, isn't it, for Enzo Maresca to kind of navigate now, I think, because he's got to say to Nicholas Jackson, you're back in our plans, but potentially, again, short term.
I mean, that's what it is. I mean, he's obviously gone there to Bayern. Jackson's gone to Bayern thinking, this is an opportunity for me. I'm going to play more regular now. Obviously, I could be playing up there with Kane. Who knows? And then the fact that he's landed, he's got a big smile on his face. He thinks new start, new beginning. And then he's been told to come back because he needs to he needs to be part of the numbers because Chelsea got injuries now. He's definitely not going to go back happy about that. But I mean, this is the ruthlessness in football sometimes. It's like when the club wants you, and they just, pull rank and say, you need to come back now because we need you. That's football, that's cutthroat.
Yeah, so he's got to be ready to go, hasn't he? But in terms of Nicholas Jackson, he had his critics, didn't he? So where do you stand on that? You think he's a really good player?
No, I just think he's a bit harsh on him. Like he's not been. What's he been in England? 3 years, 3 seasons. He's like, listen, Drogba's their Chelsea hero. He's that talisman. He's that icon, and Jackson actually had a better record than him in the Premier League.
That's
his
remarkable.
First 2 seasons. So I feel like he's getting harshly done by. Yeah. There are some questionable things. The things that stick out to me was, when he's arguing with Palmer about the penalty situation, and then obviously he got some two red cards, I think, was it at the end of the season?
Doesn't that show, I know he's arguing
ridiculous.
Cole Palmer, but to take the penalty, but doesn't that show that he wants to do things? He wants to step up, he's confident, he's brave.
Yeah, and you can do that, but, everyone knows who the penalty taker is.
I know.
When the manager says, this is my penalty taker, he's number 1 first choice, and there's number 2, there's number 3. I don't know where he was in the pecking order. But ultimately, you can't then go up to Palmer and say, I'm taking the penalty, and arguing on the pitch. It looked really bad. And he got some silly red cards. That isn't good. But ultimately, I think he's a young player. He still brings a lot to the team. And now he's got the opportunity to go and play and prove them wrong.
Well, that's it. I mean, if he plays brilliantly, then maybe Liam Delap will be looking for a start.
100%.
Who knows? I am not the manager of Chelsea, as you well know.
Right then, Chelsea faithful. What an absolutely mental 24 hours it's been at Stamford Bridge. We've got 2 massive stories that have completely turned the transfer world upside down, and both of them involve our beloved Blues in ways that'll have you scratching your heads and celebrating at the same time. Let's start with the absolute belter of news that dropped just hours ago. Alejandro Garnacho is officially a Chelsea player. Yes, you heard that right. The Argentine wizard has signed on the dotted line after what can only be described as one of the most dramatic transfer sagas of the summer. Manchester United have accepted our $40 million bid. That's a fixed fee with a cheeky 10% sell-on. A clause thrown in for good measure. And here's the kicker. This is now Manchester United's fourth largest sale in their entire history, sitting pretty behind only Cristiano Ronaldo, Romelu Lukaku, and Angel Di Maria. More importantly for United, it's their biggest ever sale of an academy graduate. Before we dive deeper into what this means for us, make sure you smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, with the way this transfer window's been going, you don't want to miss a single update from this channel. We're your one-stop shop for all things Chelsea. And with news breaking faster than Cole Palmer on the counterattack, you'll want to stay plugged in. Now, let's talk about what we're getting with Garnacho. The 21-year-old has penned a 7-year deal that'll keep him at the bridge until 2032. Enzo Maresca and the board clearly see this lad as a long-term solution to our wing problems. And honestly, who can blame them? We're talking about an Argentine international who terrorizes fullbacks, whether he's playing on the left or on the right. He's got that electric pace that makes defenders have nightmares, or more importantly, he's not afraid to track back and do his defensive duties. The numbers don't lie either. 11 goals and 10 assists in 58 appearances for United last season. That's the kind of output that gets you noticed. And that's exactly what we've been crying out for on the flanks. Pedro Neto's been doing bits since the start of the season, but having Garnacho competing for that left wing spot is going to push both players to another level entirely. What's fascinating about this whole saga is how badly Garnacho wanted this move. Word is, he turned down offers from other massive clubs across Europe because he only had eyes for Chelsea. That's the kind of mentality you want in a player. Someone who genuinely wants to be here, who sees what Maresca's building and wants to be part of it. But here's where things get interesting from a tactical perspective. Under Ruben Amorim at United, Garnacho struggled to fit into their system with wing-backs and 2 number 10s. That formation just didn't suit a traditional winger like him who wants to run at defenders one-on-one. But at Chelsea, under Maresca's system, this lad's going to absolutely thrive. He'll have the freedom to drift wide, cut inside, and create those moments of magic that win you matches. There were whispers about his attitude. Some questioned whether he had the right mentality for the big stage. But honestly, look at his performances for Argentina. Look at some of the goals he scored in massive matches. This is a player who steps up when it matters. And the fact that he was so determined to get this Chelsea move done tells you everything about his hunger. Now, while we're all buzzing about Garnacho, there's been another transfer story that's taken more twists and turns than a proper British soap opera. And it involves our Nicholas Jackson. Buckle up for this one, because it's absolutely balmy what's happened in the last few hours. Jackson was literally on a plane to Munich this morning. He'd landed in Germany, was all smiles, ready to undergo his medical with Bayern Munich. The deal was done. $13 million loan fee, which would have made it the 4th most expensive loan move in history, with a $56.2 million option to buy. The lad was probably already picking out his new apartment in Bavaria when his phone rang with news that would change everything. Liam Delap's injury against Fulham has thrown a massive spanner in the works. The young striker, who we signed from Ipswich this summer, pulled up with a hamstring injury just 13 minutes into our 2-0 win against Fulham. Maresca's assessment, 6 to 8 weeks on the sidelines. And just like that, our striker situation went from comfortable to absolutely desperate. Think about it. With Christopher Nkunku's $36 million move to AC Milan confirmed earlier in the day, we were already down to just João Pedro and Delap as our main striking options. Pedro's more naturally a number 10, and while he did brilliant work up front during our Club World Cup triumph, asking him to be our only fit striker for potentially 2 months, that's not sustainable for a club with our ambitions. So what happened? Next is the kind of ruthless decision-making that football sometimes demands. Enzo Maresca and the club's leadership had an emergency meeting right after the Fulham match. The verdict? Jackson's Bayern move is off. The lad, who was probably already dreaming of playing alongside Harry Kane, has been told to get on the next plane back to London. And honestly, you gotta feel for Jackson here. Imagine being told you can leave. getting excited about a fresh start at one of Europe's biggest clubs, flying all the way to Germany, and then being told, actually, we need you back because someone else got injured. That's gotta sting, and reports suggest he's absolutely fuming with the club's U-turn. But from a Chelsea perspective, what choice did we have? Maresca put it perfectly in his post-match interview. When you have two strikers, it's enough. When one is injured, it probably is not enough. It's simple mathematics. We couldn't afford to let Jackson go with Delap facing such a lengthy spell on the sidelines. This whole situation perfectly encapsulates the ruthless nature of modern football. One injury, one split-second decision too. Sprint for ball, and suddenly multiple transfers worth tens of millions are thrown into chaos. Bayern Munich are now frantically searching for attacking reinforcements with just days left in the transfer window, while Jackson finds himself back in Chelsea's plans whether he likes it or not. The bigger picture question this raises is about squad depth and planning. We've spent over $250 million this summer bringing in players like João Pedro, Garnacho, and initially Delap to strengthen our forward line. But football's unpredictable nature means that even the best laid plans can be derailed by something as simple as a hamstring injury. What's interesting is how this might affect the dynamic in our dressing room. Jackson's relationship with the club has been complicated. He's faced criticism from sections of our fan base, had that infamous penalty dispute with Cole Palmer last season, and picked up some silly red cards. But now he's been thrust back into a crucial role when we arguably need him most. The lad's got to be professional about this. He's still a Chelsea player on a long-term contract, and regardless of what's happened in the last 24 hours, he's got an opportunity to prove his worth. If he can channel his frustration into his performances and help us through this injury crisis, it could be the making of him. Looking at Jackson's record more objectively, he actually outperformed Didier Drogba's Premier League numbers in his first 2 seasons with us. That's not to say he's at Drogba's level. Our king will always be in a league of his own, but it shows that maybe we've been a bit harsh on the lad. He's young, he's still learning the English game, and he's shown he can score important goals when we need them. With Garnacho now in the building and Jackson unexpectedly back in our plans, Maresca's got some interesting decisions to make. We're looking at a front line that could include Pedro, Jackson, Garnacho, Neto, and when he's fit again, Delap. That's serious firepower, and it gives us the kind of depth that title-challenging teams need. The timing of these developments is mental when you think about it. We're sitting top of the Premier League table after our win against Fulham. We've got the Champions League returning to Stamford Bridge this season, and now we've added one of the most exciting young wingers in football while keeping a striker. We thought was leaving. It's chaos, but it might just be the kind of chaos that works in our favor. The real test now is integration. Garnacho needs to settle quickly. There's no long adaptation period when you're at a club like Chelsea with our expectations. He'll be competing with Neto for that left wing spot, and knowing Maresca's methods, the best performer in training and matches will get the nod. As for Jackson, this unexpected reprieve could be exactly what his Chelsea career needed. Sometimes, football works in mysterious ways, and maybe being forced to stay and fight for his place is precisely what will unlock his potential. He's got the pace, he's got the work rate, and when his finishing's on point, he can be a real handful for any defense. What's certain is that these 24 hours have shown just how unpredictable football transfers can be. One minute you're signing exciting new talent, the next you're pulling established players back from completed moves. It's the kind of drama that makes this sport absolutely addictive. The next few weeks are going to be fascinating to watch. How quickly can Garnacho adapt to Maresca's system? How will Jackson respond to being thrust back into the spotlight? And can we maintain our early season momentum while integrating these changes? One thing's for sure, this Chelsea squad is looking stronger and deeper by the day, even if the path to getting here has been anything but straightforward. With the transfer window closing soon, these might be the final pieces of Maresca's puzzle for the season ahead. Keep your eyes peeled for more updates, because if this window's taught us anything, it's that in football, you truly never know what's coming next. Until then, keep the blue flag flying high.